So TJ said, let's do this mock masterclass, right? And I was like, what would I have wanted? I would have wanted someone to teach me right for my mocks, right? What I've done is I've put together for all the main topics you have, I've put together the things that I see people struggle with the most. These are things that are often either missed in class, misunderstood, or that people find the most difficult. Okay. For that reason, we're not going to be doing, the most basic things. So if you find that you're a bit like, wait, what is she on about? That's okay. Okay. Like I'm trying to do the things that people generally find a bit tricky. You're going to be sent everything, all the notes. You're going to be sent the recording. So don't worry about taking down notes. Don't worry about writing everything down. You'll be sent it all later. Okay. Okay. So without further ado, let's get stuck in, guys. Okay. First things first, at the beginning of the notes, guys, we just have how long you should spend each question, how long you should look over things, stuff like that. And I'll leave you to look over that in your own time. Okay. So algebra, huge topic. Okay. Huge topic. So much in it. But I want to talk about something very specific in algebra, and that is your inequalities, guys. Inequalities. Inequality, what that actually means is not equal to. Okay. Actually, just give me 1 second. TJ, is it possible to have sound muted of like people coming in and out? Like...
Yes, I'll try that. That's okay.
Thank you. Okay, awesome. Okay. So inequality, guys, it means not equal to, right? So what are we talking about there? 1 second, feel my pen working.
Yeah, that's sorted, Niamh.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, lovely. Let me just get everything out of the way. Okay. Because inequalities, we're talking about less than signs, greater than signs, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. We're talking about equations where things are not actually equal to each other. Okay, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about inequalities. Here's a perfect example of what an inequality looks like when it comes up in your junior cert, right? You see this all the time. You get these double inequalities. Before we jump into that, let's just go through some of the basics quickly, okay? So let's say we have this. We got something that looks like this. Okay, Berna Horan, God love you, you're first up. What would you think that is in words? If I said X is what 5? Do you know what that sign in the middle means?
Greater than.
Yeah, good on you. Yeah, 5 is greater than X. Good. 5 is greater than X here, guys. Okay. So the whatever side it's eating is the bigger number. Okay. Similarly, if we something like this, it's eating X, so X is greater than 5. Okay. That's what we're talking about here. Now, guys, the nice thing about these inequalities is that we can actually treat them the exact same thing as if we've got an equal sign in the middle, apart from one really important difference, okay? And the only difference is that if I have, let's say I've got minus 2x is less than 6, and let's say I want to find what x is here. Well, what do I do, guys? If I've got a minus 2 in front of my x, to get rid of the minus 2, okay, I always want to do the opposite of whatever's happening. Minus 2x means minus 2 multiplied by x, okay? It means if I've got 3x, it means 3 multiplied by x. If I've got a number in front of an x, it just means it's being multiplied by it. But I don't want minus 2x, I want x. So to get rid of that minus 2, guys, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to divide through by minus 2, okay? Now, when I divide by a negative number, when I divide by negative number, what we're going to see is, guys, is that the sign flips, okay? This sign, this inequality sign is going to flip and it's going to become the opposite. So we're going to end up with x is greater than minus 3. And that's the only rule. That's the only rule that we really need to see. Okay. 1 second. Okay, perfect. So let's have a look at this double inequality now, guys, okay? This is an exam question.
That's probably the hardest one, Niamh, isn't it? Algebra is how much does algebra count for the junior cert paper, Niamh?
I mean, algebra, guys, the thing is with algebra is that it's going to come up, it's going to appear in every single topic that you have. If like algebra is like the basis of maths, right? You need to know algebra to do literally anything of maths, because algebra tells you, how do I find something I don't know? X is something I don't know and I want to find it. And that's always what we're trying to do in math. We're always trying to find something we don't know. So you're going to see this appearing everywhere in your paper, absolutely everywhere. So having the basics of this is going to take you very, very far.
So if they're to concentrate on one thing, the next 20 minutes is probably the most important.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, guys, let's give this a go. So what we're going to do is with a double inequality, okay, we're going to take this into two separate equations. So let's just draw a box from our -2 all the way up to our next less than sign, okay? And then the next equation we're going to take our box again. I'm going to draw it from my 5x all the way up to our 18. So we had two inequality signs here, and then we can't do anything if we've got two, right? Because you want to take things over to one side, you want to divide through. We've got two of them. So what we do is we draw a box from one inequality side to the other side of the equation, and from this inequality side to the other side of the equation. Okay. And now we're going to write these two out as separate equations. So we've got -2 less than or equal to 5x plus 3. And we're going to have 5x plus 3 is less than 18. Guys, can everyone just try and give this equation on the left-hand side here a go? Okay. When I say give it a go, I say try to find x. So just treat this sign as an equal sign. Just pretend it's an equal sign and try to find x. And just see how we get on. So what do you think here? Samuel, what do you think you would do, right? If you were to try and find x here, what would be the first thing you might do?
I might divide them.
You might divide them. What might you divide them by?
I do -2 divided by 5. I mean,
So
no, I'll do
Samuel, do you know what? You're dead right, but you're one step ahead of me. You're dead right, but you're one step ahead, right? So in the end, we're gonna have to divide by 5. Samuel's dead right. But before that, guys, right, if you take nothing away from the today, take this away from today. If you're trying to find x, if you're trying to find y, if you're trying to find some letter, put that on one side of the equation and put everything else on the other side. Okay. You can come away knowing nothing, but go away knowing that, okay? But all the numbers on one side of the equation, put all the letters on the other side of the equation every single time, okay? So that's always going to be our first step. So let's do that. So we're going to take our -2 and we'll leave our 5x on the one side. So I'm going to take my 3 over to the other side. Guys, when I take a number over an equal sign like this or an inequality sign, Dermot O'Brien, what happens to it? If I take this 3 over this inequality sign, what happens to it?
The sign changes to a minus.
Unreal, Dermot,
Yeah.
well done. The sign changes to a minus. Exactly, guys. When it comes over any inequality sign, any equal sign, the sign changes to a minus. What are we left with? We're left with -2 minus 5 is less than or equal to 5x. -2 minus 5, guys, that's equal to -5, less than or equal to 5x. Okay, now Samuel, we can do exactly what you said. You were dead right. We need to divide through by 5, guys. Why? Because we've got a 5 in front of this x. I don't fucking want this 5 in front of this x. I want x. I don't want 5x. I want x. What is that 5x saying? It's saying 5 multiplied by x. What's the opposite of multiplication? Division. Okay. Cancel these guys out. We have -5 divided by 5. And that leaves you with -1 is less than or equal to x. Okay, guys, I want you to do the exact same thing for this other equation on the other side. Okay, we're going to do the exact same process. What was the first thing, Aoife? What was the first thing that I said you always do if you're trying to find an x?
You bring the x to one side and the numbers to the other.
Unreal, Aoife. You bring the x's to one side, numbers to the other. Amazing. Caroline Corrigan, how do you think we might do that here?
You'd move the 3, you'd minus the 3 to the other side.
Amazing. Guys, you're absolutely flying, to be honest. This is brilliant. Amazing. You bring the 3 over to the other side. You get 18 minus 3. What are we left with? We've got a 5x is less than 18 minus 3. It's 15. JJ Chan, your name is absolutely amazing. What do you think we should do here to find x?
Divide 5 by what's called 15.
Yeah, exactly. All the way around. Good on you. Divide 15 by 5. Yeah.
What's so funny?
Do you know what's funny, right? Do you know what? It's exact same with everyone I teach, right? Everyone says like says something divided by something the opposite way around, and it always makes me giggle. But
Oh,
you're the
yeah, fair
exact same
enough.
as everyone.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, brill. So let's divide everything by 5. Amazing, well done. What are we left with, guys? We've got x is less than 15 divided by 5, 3. Okay. Now, this is a bit weird, right? What's going on here? I've got x is greater than or equal to -1, but I've also got x is less than 3. Now, guys, there's a reason we do this whole double inequality thing. There's a reason we've got 2 inequality signs. Okay. This is because we're trying to find a range of values for x. We're trying to say that x is in between 3 and -1. So we can combine our answers in this way, guys, because the point of this is really to find a range of values for x. I'm not trying to say that x is equal to 5. I'm trying to say that it's between -1 and 3. Okay, that's why we do this double inequality questions. That's why they're the thing that's going to come up the most, okay, in a question like this. Now, plotting things like this on a number line, you'll see come up so often, guys, okay? So they'll ask you to find the inequality first, and then they're going to ask you to plot it on a number line. Okay, show of hands with your, you can either put your hands up or put the emoji up. Who's seen this before? We've had to plot this inequality in a number line.
Try the emoji there, lads. Yeah, emojis are good.
Amazing.
Good.
Okay, yeah, a lot of you seen that before. Yeah, it comes up super often. Nice. Okay, cool. Well, let's give it a go then. So it's going to change depending on how we plot it on the number line, guys. It's going to change depending on what type of number we're looking at. Here we've got an x as an element of real numbers. What the hell are real numbers, Jack Farrell? What do you reckon? I've actually lost you on my screen now. Okay, I'm going to try someone else. What do you reckon real numbers are? James Cranwell. You're on mute there, James.
Might be struggling. One thing I'd say is everyone, if you unmute yourself and give it a go, give it a go. Everyone is struggling here. Like everyone is scared of this math, so it's worthwhile giving it a go. But maybe he's unmuted there. If you want to just tell us there, we can drive on.
Not to worry. So, guys, real numbers. Okay, these are the 3 different types of numbers that we're going to need to know how to plot a number line. Okay, we've got the capital R, which stands for real numbers. Okay. We've got our capital N, which is our natural numbers. And finally, guys, we've got our Z, which is our integers, okay?
Can I ask in the chat there, has everyone seen that before? R, N, and Z. Can you say yes or no into the chat? Can everyone type in? Because that's crucial. I want to know. Yes, you have. Nice. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
super important, exactly. Because you're going to see something like this. X is an element of N, saying that X is a natural number, X is an element of Z, X is an integer, X is a real number. Okay. Natural numbers, guys, these are, as the name kind of suggests, these are your counting numbers. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, blah, 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 blah. The natural numbers that we see in everyday life. There are natural numbers. Okay, counting numbers. Our integers, on the other hand, are also whole numbers. Okay, we won't see decimal points, we're not going to see fractions here. But they're also include the negative ones. So we can have, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, blah, 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 blah. Okay? The real numbers, though, are the ones I want to talk about a bit more. The real numbers is every single number in between. Every single number. It could be 1 still, or it could be 1.2, or it could be 3.5678, or it could be 15/256. It could be any second number. Why the hell do we even have a name for it? Because there's a whole other class of numbers called imaginary numbers, which are going to come to Leibniz. So we have to call this something different. But for our purposes, real numbers, they're every single number in between. So they're like, 0.2687, blah, 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 whatever you like. Okay. When we're plotting real numbers, guys, when we're plotting real numbers, we're going to do a solid line like we have here. Okay. We're doing a solid line on our number line because when we're talking about every number, we're not just talking about 1 or 2 or 0. We're talking about, 1.5, 1.8, any number in between. So we represent it with a solid line, okay? Also importantly, you'll see here, that x is less than or equal to -1. It can also be -1. So we do a nice closed dot around this to represent that. It could be, it's greater than or equal to, it can be -1. But you see here, guys, x is strictly less than 3. It cannot be 3. Okay, so we do an open circle to tell us, no, it's everything up to 3, but it can't actually reach 3. Now, guys, for your other numbers, for your natural, for your integers, okay, then we just plot it by doing dots over each of the numbers. So we start at -1, -1, we can go to 0, 1, 2, okay? So it's just all the whole numbers because I don't have to worry about the stuff in between. Okay, does that make sense, guys? Okay. Okay, let's bang on. Cool, okay. I'm gonna go past this for a second and come back to it. Okay, guys, the next topic I want to talk to you about, I'm going to come back to some algebra in a bit when we've got a bit more time. But what I really want to talk to you about now is coordinate geometry. Okay, coordinate geometry, guys, is every time, this is something that comes up time and time and time again. Okay, you're going to see this in your junior cert, you're also going to see it throughout your leaving cert. It's a huge topic. Coordinate geometry is talking about plots and graphs and lines. Okay, it's talking about, well, if I've got some kind of plane where if I have got a y-axis and an x-axis, coordinate geometry gives us a way to pinpoint a point in this plane. It's the same thing as, like, you know, if you're lost somewhere and you send someone coordinates to where you are, right? That's coordinate geometry, right? That's coordinate geometry. It's telling you where you are in space. This is the whole point of this topic, okay? So for example, let's say that I had, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, something like this. If I put the point, say, here, well, I'm at 2 on the x-axis, and I'm at 2 on the y-axis. So this must be the point 2, 2 on the coordinate geometry plane. Okay. Another thing that's really important here is that when we plot all these different points, let's say I plot a bunch of points here like this. If I put a line through all these points, okay, then we've got a graph or a line in our plane, okay? And we have equations that describe these lines. And that's what I want to talk to you about now. So let's say I've got a straight line like the one we have in front of us. Then the equation that will describe that line is given by this formula, y equals mx plus c. Guys, burn this one into your brains. This is a really, really, really important formula, okay? It's in your log tables. But don't even worry about looking up at your log tables. Just when you see a line, a straight line graph, I always want you to think y equals mx plus c. Okay, straight line graph, y equals mx plus c. M here is the slope, and c is where it crosses the x-axis. So c is the y-axis. Sorry, that should be a y. C is where it crosses the y-axis. So this point, wherever that point is there, say it crosses at the point 0, 2, and let's say the slope was 1, okay, then y would equal 1 by x plus c 2. Okay, y would equal x plus 2. And this equation would describe this graph. Okay, so it's important that we can be given graphs like this, guys, and that we can then find a way to write the equation of these graphs. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. So what do we need to find the graph? Well, we need m, and we need a point on the line. We can use a different formula for that. But we'll just start with, let's just start with the slope, how we find the slope. So the slope of a graph, well, if you think about it, guys, what is slope, right? Slope is steepness, okay? Slope is how steep something is. If you're talking about a hill, and I'm saying, oh, the slope of that hill is really, really steep. It's really, really steep. It's a really, really hard hill to climb, right? Then you have a really big slope. Maybe it's like 8 or something. But let's say that it's basically flat, but it just has a slight incline. Then it's going to be a smaller slope. Maybe it's like a half or something like that. So slope is about steepness, okay? So slope here can be given by rise over run. Okay, how much does my graph go up over how much does it go across? Okay, let me just show you what I mean. Let's say, let's go over here for a sec. Let's have a look at this graph again. Okay, so let's say I want to say, okay, well, it's risen 3, so we've gone up 3, 1, 2, 3. There's my rise. And my run, how much is it going to cross by going up 3? It's going to cross 1, 2, 3. And my run is 3. 3 over 3. Yeah.
Can you unshare after this in 2 minutes after you've done the slope?
Can I, sorry?
Unshare in a minute after you've done the slope, just for context.
Unshare.
Yeah. Can you share 1 sec? Oh,
sorry.
Wait.
Yes.
Oh, you're grand. Sorry, hold on. I want to give context, a few questions in there, because everyone's going, they're like, oh my God, this is might be going a bit too fast. The context is we've done a question of algebra. This is now coordinate geometry. We'll get 3 or more topics done, and that'll be you. Okay? We're giving you a general run through. Keep the questions coming in the chat to me, okay? And I'll go from there. All right? Thanks, Niamh. Sorry, cut across it.
No problem. No problem. Okay. So guys, to find our slope for our line, we're doing rise over run. Okay, how much does the slope rise over how far across does it run? Okay, let's do another example of that. Okay, let's have a look. Stick with me. Okay. Let's say we have another line like this. Okay. And let's say this is the point. We're going to go 2, 3. Actually, I'm not going to do that. Sorry, I'm not going to do that. Okay, I want to show you another formula. So the rise over run, guys, you could read it off the graph like we've done with this one, okay? But another thing you can do to find slope is we can use a formula which we're given in our log tables. And that formula looks like this. M is always meaning slope. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Okay, looks a bit confusing, but stay with me. Let's say that I have, again, some lines, some graph. And let's say that the question said, well, there's a point in the graph here at, 6, 5. And there's another point in the graph here at 1, 2. And they've asked you, well, what's the slope of this graph then? What we can do, guys, is we can label each of these points as our x1, y1. We can label the other set of points x2, y2. And we can just sub it into our formula to find the slope of our line. And this always, always, always works. Something that's really nice about these formulas, guys, is that it doesn't matter what way you label it at all. I could also label these guys as the x2, y2s. I could label these guys as the x1, y1s, and it would all be the same, okay? You can label it any way you want to, as long as you label one of the points x1, y1, and the other point x2, y2, and then we just sub it in. Guys, give this a go now for me, okay? Try to sub in these values, these points, into your formula for the slope here. Okay, try to sub these in. So let's see. Arthur Hollenshed, can you give me a hand with this one? See how we get on.
Yeah. What?
Okay, so we've got the point x1, y1, which is the point 1, 2. And we've got the point x2, y2, which is 6, 5. So what do you think I should put in for y2 here, Arthur? What do you think I should put in for y2? Sorry, you're on mute, Arthur. Oh, you muted yourself.
What? So you've x1 and y2.
So see the way I've labeled these points with x1, y1s and x2, y2s, right? Do you see the way I've labeled this? Y2 is 5. What do you think I should put in for y2 in my formula?
12.3.
So what you're going to put in, right, is, okay, good on you, Arthur, by the way, because this is really, really good, because everyone is struggling with this stuff, but this is not just one of you guys. This is difficult stuff, okay? This is difficult stuff. So what I've done is I've taken a point, guys. I've taken these points and I've called one of the points x1, y1. I've called another one of the points x2, y2. So I'm now going to sub in for y2, the number 5. I'm going to sub in for y1, the number 2, because that's the way I've labeled them. Does everyone see that? I've taken this from here. Y2 is 5, Y1 is 2, and I've just put those values in as I've labeled them. Okay. Now I've called 6x2. So I'm going to put them for 6. And I put as 1 is x1. Okay. So what are we left with? We've got 5 minus 2 is 3. 6 minus 1 is 4. And your slope is 3/4. Let's try another one of those, guys. Let's try another one of those. Stick with me. Okay. So we've got m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay. Now we've got a line like this. Okay, sorry, I can't turn off that phone. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, all good. So we've got the point here. Let's say this is point 4, 5, and say this is point 1, 2. Okay, guys, you're going to label one of these points x1, y1, and another one of these points x2, y2. Can everyone give that a go for me now? x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay. I'm going to label this one x1, y1. I'm going to label this one x2, y2. Okay. Alex Cathart. Good on you. What do you reckon? What do you reckon I should put in here for y2 now, Alex?
I put 5 for y2.
Good woman yourself. Why?
Because that's what y2 is on the graph.
Yeah, that's what we second called it, sure. Yeah, exactly. Well done. Good woman. Really good. So because I've labeled it that way, guys, that's just what we're going to put it in. So 5 is going to be y2. Amazing. What's y1 then, do you think? Brian Naughton, what do you think y1 is going to be?
2.
2. Amazing. Yeah, because we called it 2. Amazing. x2, guys, is 4. x1 is 1. Okay, we end up with 5 minus 2 is 3. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is just 1. Okay, guys, this slope always works. If you're given the points, if you call one of the points x1, y1, you call another one of the points x2, y2, half the battle, you're done. You just sub it in. There's another formula, right, that works in the same way as this in coordinate geometry, and it's this one here. Okay, labeling doesn't matter. Put that in the big writing, okay, because it really doesn't matter. Label it any way you want to. This is the distance formula. Okay, now this again is in your log tables. You don't need to learn it off by heart. And basically it tells you if you've got 2 points on a plane, or if you've got 2 people standing either ends of the earth and you know their coordinates, you can find out what the distance is between them. If I draw a straight line from those 2 people, how far apart are they? Okay, so let's have a look here now. Let's give it a go. We're going to use the exact same, you know, we're going to use the exact same example here, okay? But this time, instead of finding the slope, I want to find the distance between these 2 points. I want to find the distance between these 2 points. Okay, so let's see how we're going to do that. So the distance formula is D is equal to the square root all of x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared. Okay, Bence, what do you think I'm going to put in for x2? What have I labeled as x2 over here?
And for x2 you labeled 4.
4, amazing. So I'm going to put in 4. So good. 4. Perfect. Okay. Anna Salgado. So sorry, I butchered your name. What am I going to put in for x1?
1.
1, amazing, because I've labeled that as 1. So good, guys. For y2, I'm going to put in 5. For y1, I'm going to put in 2. Okay, so for these formulas, guys, as long as all you do at the beginning is draw on your labels x1, y1, x2, y2, okay, then you're always going to be able to use these formulas, and you can label them any way you want to. So the distance between these is, we've got 4 minus 1 is 3 squared. 5 minus 2 is also 3 squared. Guys, 3 squared is equal to 9. So we have the square root of 9 plus 9. And the distance in between them is the square root of 18. Okay, just like that. Okay. Okay, guys, another thing that I want to tell you about. Yeah. Okay. So sometimes we're asked to find the equation of a line, okay? So we're trying to find the equation of a line. We've got this formula. Again, guys, it's in our log tables. So coordinate geometry is a very formula heavy topic, okay? We're always going to be using formulas throughout it. The formula to find the equation of a line is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. What did I say m stood for? Aoife, do you remember what I said m stood for? Maybe Aoife.
Slope?
Slope.
It was slope, exactly. It was slope. Unreal. Well done, guys. It's a slope. Now, guys, x1, y1 is just some point. It's just some point that's on the graph. Just some points on the graph. Now, remember, what we want to end up with is an equation that looks like this. Y equals mx plus c. So something maybe like y equals 2x plus 5. So we still want a y there and an x there to be in there, okay? And that's these guys, the y and the x here. So those just stay the same. They stay as a y and an x. But our x1, y1, they're the guys, that's the point that we're going to be labeling on our line, okay? So let's give it a go. So let's say I had here this guy here. My slope here, guys, is -2. And I know that the point 1, 6 is on this line. So how am I going to find the equation of the line using y minus y1 equals mx minus x1? Guys, everyone give this a go. How am I going to find the equation of this line? I've been told my slope is -2. I've been told a point on the line is 1, 6. How am I going to find the equation of the line? Well, the first thing is, guys, let's label the point. x1, y1. Okay, so again, Georgia Morin, what am I going to put in for y1 here?
6.
Unreal, 6. Amazing, amazing. Jack Farrell, what am I going to put in for slope? M. Maybe Jack can't hear me. I'm putting in for slope m, guys. I'm putting in -2. -2 goes in for m. What am I going to put in for x1, Kate?
1.
1. Amazing, because that's why we labeled it. So good, guys. What do we end up with? We've got y minus 6 is equal to -2 times x, so -2x. -2 times -1 is just +2. Okay. Now, we always want our slope, or we always want our equation of our line, sorry, to end up looking like this, guys. Y equals mx plus c. We want it to have this form. So I'm going to rearrange it until it looks like that. So we end up with y. I want to take my -6 to the other side of the equation. I end up with -2x plus 2 plus 6. Okay. Got y is equal to -2x. 2 plus 6 is 8. And you find the equation of your line, guys. So if you have a point on the line, and if you have the slope, then you can find the equation of the line using this formula. Okay.
And why is it -2?
Why is it -2? Because why is the slope -2? Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah, fine.
It's just because the slope was -2,
Yeah.
exactly. So I can't see who's asking the question, but great question, guys. Keep questions coming.
Niamh, on that, Niamh, there's been a few in the chat. There's been people saying, like, I get very confused between the other way. There's like y equals mx plus c, and you've got the slope formula and stuff. What's your advice between like getting mixed up between all the formulas? What do you think is the most important thing to focus on?
Yeah, amazing question. Really, really good question, guys. So what's best thing to focus on is what you're being asked in the question. Okay, what is the question asking you? The first thing is, if the question says, find the equation of the line, then ding, 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 it's the formula we just did. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Okay, that's always, if you're trying to find the equation of the line, that's the formula you're using. Okay, where does the y equals mx plus c come into things, right? That was what I was just about to say, actually. Is that if you're looking at an equation of a line and it's all a bit mixed up, and they say, oh, well, what's the slope of this line? you know that if you can put it in the form of y equals mx plus c, you know that the slope is going to come out. Okay, that's the only time we use it. You're not going to use y equals mx plus c to find the equation of the line, but you are going to use it if you're trying to find the slope of a given equation of the line. Let me show you that now. So I'm going to just say finding slope when given equation. Then you're using y equals mx plus c. Is that a bit more clear, guys? Finding the equation of the line, this is our formula. If you're trying to find the slope, but you're already given some equation, this is our formula. Let me show you what I mean. Imagine, right, they said, now, let's have a look at this question. All right, see how you find this. Let's say we had the line L is given by 2x minus, no, sorry, let me change that slightly. It's going to be 2x plus 3y minus 3 equals 0. And they ask you to find the slope. Then, guys, if we can write this in this equation in a way that looks like this, we can pull our m out. Because our slope is going to be whatever is multiplying x if our line looks like this, if our equation looks like this. So let's do that. Let's try to make y the subject. Okay, let's try
Sorry,
to make...
but can I have a question?
Of course.
M isn't the common factor though, so how would that work?
M isn't the common... Oh, okay, good question. Great question. That's the way I phrased it. Exactly. Well done. So no, we're not going to pull out M as a factor. No, you're dead right. We're not going to pull it out as a factor. But if we can rearrange this equation to look like, y equals, something times x plus some number, then I'll know that whatever's multiplying x is the slope. Does that make a bit more sense?
That's perfect. That's it, Niamh. That's the question everyone's asking. If you in the chat looking at it, that's exactly what you're getting confused on with y equals something. That's how it's explained. You just move it around.
Exactly. So let's just try and do this, guys, right? Let's just try and rearrange this formula, this equation to look like y equals mx plus c. Okay. Line L, sorry. Okay. Let's try and do that. So I'm going to try and make y the subject. When I say I want to make y the subject, y is the thing we're trying to find. Guys, remember at the very beginning of this class, I was like, I want you to remember one thing from today, right? Let's see if you've remembered it. Richard, if we're trying to find something, what do we always do? Say if we're trying to find x, what do we always do? What's the first step? I don't think maybe Richard can't hear me. Okay, I'll tell you. We want to put that to one side, right? Whatever we're trying to find, we put to one side, and then we put everything else on the other side every single time. This time, I want to make y the subject. I want it to look like this. So let's make y the subject. I'm going to leave y here, 3y, and I'm going to bring everything over to the other side of the equation. It's going to be equal to 2x is going to become minus 2x. I'm going to bring my minus 3 over. It's going to become plus 3. Now we're getting closer, right? We're getting closer to this y equals mx plus c thing, but we've got a 3 in front of this y. I don't want that 3 there, right? That's not what we want. How are we going to get rid of this 3? What do you reckon? Julian Cantwell Waterford. How do you think we're going to get rid of this 3 that's in front of the y?
Sorry, that's the Mam's account. But I was just thinking, if you multiply the cross by 3, so then you multiply everything by 3, and then you just left with y.
So close. Divide everything by the 3. Good on you.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're dead right. Well done. Awesome. Well done. Amazing. Divide everything by 3. We're left with y is equal to minus 2 over 3x plus 3 over 3. What's 3 divided by 3? It's just 1. Now, guys, now you're in the form of y equals mx plus c. Guys, what's our slope? Someone shout it out. Race.
Minus 2 over 3.
Oh, amazing. Minus 2 over 3. Unreal. Minus 2 over 3. Amazing, guys. Do you see what I've done there? If we want to find the equation of the line, we're doing this. But if we've got the line in this mixed up weird order, and they say, oh, give me the slope, then you're using this. Then this becomes more useful. Are we a bit more clear on that?
Don't want to type into the chat. Are we feeling okay? Everyone a bit or more understanding of coordinate geometry? Yeah, good. A lot of yeses, Niamh. Excellent.
Fantastic. Guys,
Brilliant.
let's move on.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So good. Okay, let's move on, guys. So, what will I do with these next? Yeah, go on then. Let's talk about a bit of financial maths quickly, all right? Okay. Financial maths, right?
If you don't, by the way, the recording's going to go out. There's a few notes. We'll send you a recording anyway to go back over. But she's nailed slope and point, and that's critical. So you'll go back and check it.
Absolutely. Okay. Let's just talk about financial maths briefly, guys. Okay. Huge topic. An amazing one, because I tell you what, if you take anything away from maths in school, you actually will use financial maths. I promise you. And when you actually grow up and have to deal with money, I promise you'll use this stuff if you never use anything else you use for school again. Financial maths is kind of like an applied way of looking at percentages. Okay, that's basically what it is. It's in the same bracket of the same area really of looking at percentages. Okay, but we apply it to financial settings now. So before we even go into any of the financial stuff, I want to see if we can answer these two questions. Okay, we need to be able to find percentages. What's 28% of 500? Guys, everyone, 28% of 500. Let's give it a go. 28% of 500. I'm going to pick on Ali's iPhone. How do you think we might go about this, Ali? Okay, maybe Ali can't hear me. Okay. Guys, if we want to find the percentage of a number, okay, you multiply that number by the percentage. So it's 500 multiplied by 28 over 100 every time. 28 over 100 percent. What does percent mean? It means per 100. Okay, a cent means 100 per 100. So it's 28 times out of 100 this thing happens. So we don't multiply by 28, we multiply by 28 over 100. That's how we find 28% of 500. What do we end up with? 140, I think. Okay. Now, what about this one? If 15% of x is 30, if 15% of x is 30, what is x? Guys, take a minute. Give that a go for me. Sophie crying? What do you think? Okay, Sophie.
I don't know.
Do you know that's grand, Sophie? Many people don't know. So, what do we think? Maybe Kira Brown. What do you think? We've got 50% of x is 30. What do you think x is?
200.
200. You're dead right, Kira. It's 200. How did you do that?
I divided 15 into 30.
Well done. Exactly. Well done. So the thing is, guys, if we know what 15% of a number is, right? We know 15 is 30. What you want to do first, you want to find 1%. I want to find 1%. Okay. So if 15% is 30, to get 1%, 1% is equal to 30 over 15. And that's just equal to 2. So 1% is 2. So how do I find the whole number? Well, I find 100% of it. To find that, I just multiply by 100. Okay. 2 multiplied by 100, which is just 200. Okay. These two skills, super essential for financial maths, okay? Really, really essential. To find a percentage of a number, but then if you know a percentage of the number, what is the full number, okay? Okay. So something I want to talk about really quickly in the financial math side of things is this thing of taxes, basically, right? Guys, pain in the arse. Every single time what happens is every time you get any kind of paycheck, you get taxed on it. Okay, you will, if they give you 20,000, then they'll take 20% of it, or they'll take 40% of it, or whatever. Okay, the government always takes that money to pay for schools, roads, all this kind of stuff. So your paycheck is often nearly half the time you get it back. Okay, so we need to figure out how to calculate these taxes. And what the government decides to do is like, well, if you make, let's say you make up to 30,000 euro a year, you make this much. Okay, and the government says, well, I'm going to take 20% of this. Okay, it says I'm having 20% of that, right? You're not having all that. But then let's say someone else comes along and they make 100,000, which is a heck of a lot more than 30,000. Then what the government said was, okay, well, on the first 30,000 that they make, I'm also going to take 20%. But everything after that is going to be taxed at a higher rate because you're making too much money here. Everything after that's going to be taxed at a higher rate. So everything above 30,000, so the remaining 70,000, is taxed at a higher rate of, let's say, 40%. This is a really important concept, and this is called the standard rate cutoff point. Standard rate cutoff point. That at 30,000, you're capped at being taxed at 20%, and everything you make over that, you're taxed at a higher rate. Does that kind of make sense, guys? Is everyone with me there? Does it make sense why the government does that? Kind of. So that people don't get too rich, basically. Okay.
Have we done financial maths in school, lads? Text in the chat there. Have you all covered it? Give me a yes or no in the chat. Yeah, a lot of yeses, Niamh. A few no's as well, but a lot of yeses.
Okay, great. Really good. Okay. So what we're gonna do is now, guys, what I'm gonna do with you is I'm gonna say, let's say now that I'm lucky enough to make 100,000 euro. I want to find out how much I'm gonna get taxed on that. Okay. For the first 30,000, I'm taxed 20%. On the first 30,000, I'm taxed 20%. Okay. So 30,000 taxed 20%. So I want to find 20% of 30,000 essentially, and then take it away because that's the money that I have to give back to the government. So how am I going to find 20%? How am I going to find 20% of 30,000? Trying to pick a random name. Callum Fleet. How do you think I'm going to find 20% of 30,000? Okay, maybe Callum, come hear me.
Put 20 over 100 and then 30,000 by 20 or 20 over 100.
Unreal, Callum. Perfect. Well done. Well done. 30,000 multiplied by 20 over 100. Brilliant. See these basic percentage skills coming back in, guys. Okay. So we're going to end up with, just crossing out our zeros here. We're going to end up with 6,000, is it? I think. Okay. Perfect. Now we've got that much, but the standard rate cutoff is at 30,000, but I make 100,000. So I make 70,000 more than that. So I need to find 40% now of 70,000 because now my excess, my 70,000 is taxed at 40%. So guys, can everyone now just go ahead and try to find 40% of 70,000 for me? Can everyone just try to find 40% of 70,000 for me and see how you get on? Okay, and try to put your answer in the chat if you have it. Okay, we're going to be multiplying 70,000 by 40 over 100. Okay, what are we going to end up with? 4 by 7, I think it's 2,800. No. Hold on. My maths has gone wrong somewhere.
Yeah.
Someone have that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Like, oh. Okay. So guys, what's my total tax? How much have I been taxed? If I made 100,000 euro, how much have I been taxed then? Faye, how much have I been taxed altogether? How much have I been taxed altogether?
34,000.
Well, I'm going to add together the two taxes, right? I'm going to add together how much I'm taxed on 30,000, and I'm going to add together how much I'm taxed on my 70,000. So my total tax that year, guys, is 8,000. Sorry, yeah, it's 8,800. Okay, adding together my two taxes. Does that make sense, guys? This whole standard rate cutoff, does that make sense, what I've just said? Give me some yeses in the chat, or no's, as the case might be.
Yeah, maybe yes.
Okay.
The total tax is adding both, yeah, 6 and 28.
Exactly, adding both together. So we have 6,000 plus 2,800. Okay. Okay, perfect. Now, one more thing before I leave financial maths, I want to tell you one more thing. Okay, the government isn't that mean to us, guys. It does give us a helping hand sometimes. And one of the situations is like, I don't know, let's say I don't know, I've had a really bad injury and I can't work as much as I could before. And the government says, oh no, you don't have to be taxed that much. I'll give you some money back. Okay, you don't have to be taxed that much. And that's called tax credits, right? They'll give you a little bit of money back, give you a little bit of leeway because you've had a bit of a hard time. So let's say that the government says, listen, you have had a hell of a year. I'm going to give you tax credits of 3,000 euro this year. Then that means, guys, I'm actually not going to pay that full 8,800. I'm actually going to pay 3,000 less than that. So my tax payable, the amount of tax I end up paying in the end, it's going to be 8,800 minus 3,000. And I end up with 5,800.
Sorry, Niamh.
Yes.
Is it not 28,000 and not 2,800 in the 40% tax rate?
28,000. 28,000. I'm sure you're right.
All right. It is.
Yeah. I'm sure you're right. Exactly. Well done. That's why I was questioning myself, but I was right too. Well done. Exactly. Okay.
Thanks.
No worries. Okay. Just for the bad maths aside, guys, your tax payable is going to be, you're going to be finding, right, three things. You need to find the tax is going to be paid up to the standard rate cutoff point. You're going to find the tax that's paid on the excess, the money you make over that, it's going to be taxed at a higher rate. And then you're going to take away your tax credits. Okay, those are the three things. So in the question, they're usually going to have standard rate cutoff points. You're going to find the tax at the lower amount of money to 30,000 roughly. All the money above that, the excess, the higher rate, and then you take away the amount of money the government's given you back, the tax payable. Okay, those are the three things for these tax questions. Is that clear? Let me check the chat. Yeah, okay. Okay, awesome. Cool. How much time do I have, TJ?
We'll unshare a second, Niamh. I'll actually unshare, is that right? Stop just right, we'll just check in, see everyone's at. So we have, what have we done? We've done a bit of algebra, right? Coordinate geometry, two topics that are going to come up, and some financial maths. It is all linked to algebra. You're trying to solve everything. Everything is built off algebra. And yeah, tiny bit of confusion over the total tax and stuff. Don't worry about that. Here's a big mistake that you're going to make for the mocks, right? Here's a big mistake that I see everyone making the mocks. They get pedantic. They get so focused on the smallest thing, like, oh, what is this again? Or what's this? Like, what's the Y, the C, the hit? Like, I don't get it, standard and higher. I would bring you back to square one. This is really important. The most important thing about maths, how you get results, is understanding the basics. If the teacher can see what you're doing is right, you're using the right formula, you're on the right trend of thought, you are going to get the marks. Is that clear? Can everyone text me? Yeah, do you understand me? Text into the chat. The understanding the basics is the most important part. Just give me a yes. Do you get that? Did you learn that in school? Most of your marks are for the basics. Are you doing the right thing? Are you on track? And you're going to get the marks. Did you agree with that, Niamh?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And having the basics of algebra, like those little simple things I was saying about x's on one side, numbers on the other side. Whenever you've got a number in front of x, dividing both sides with that number. Perfect. I've seen students come from like 10% to 60% on those 2 points alone, because it brings you so far. If you can just do that much of the question, then you're flying. But that's the thing that trips people up the most.
Can I say something as well? Really important. See anyone, the last question there, financial tax. See that question? There was like a slight mistake, right? If you kept going using the same answer, would you get penalized in the exam? Exactly. You wouldn't get penalized exam. Yeah. In the chat, you wouldn't get penalized. You would keep going. You get docked for that particular question. And if you use the same answer going through, they keep, you get the same marks as if you got it right. There was a video last year, I think a guy had on TikTok, and it was like, he went through the exam and he got every single question wrong, the final answer, but he did every step up to the last part correct, and he got a H1 in it. The final exam, the final answer is not overly important as you expect. Is that okay, everybody? And it's your junior cert. You've never done an exam before, and that's something you got to learn. Get the basics. Agreed? Okay. It's 5:05, right? Here's our choice. Everyone with me, right? We can do, I think, Niamh, you need probably more 10 more minutes of teaching, do we? Do you fancy it? Like, just because I feel like one more little topic.
Yeah.
And we can do the test then. Is everyone up for that? What do you think? Yeah. Michelle, lovely thumbs up. Niamh, do you want to do one more question and we'll go for the test then?
Perfect. Okay.
Brilliant. All right, lads, one more question, full intent. Let's go.
Okay, guys, let's just talk a little bit about trigonometry, right? Really, really, really big topic, okay? This is kind of funny, but hopefully
they love trigonometry.
Yeah. Everyone loves trigonometry. Okay, let's demystify it a little bit, guys. Okay, let's just demystify this. Really, we're talking about trigonometry. Okay, guys, think right angle triangle. Think of a triangle with a 90-degree angle in it. This is your absolute basis of trigonometry. Your next thing, Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras, absolute genius that he was, came up with this, right? He said that if you've got a right angle triangle, okay, so just a triangle that has a right angle. What's a right angle? Brian Naughton, what's a right angle? What do you reckon?
I don't know.
A right angle, right, guys? A right angle is a 90 degrees. It's a 90-degree angle, right? Brian, and right angle is if you do this with your finger, right? If you've got a corner, that's a right angle. Every corner you have on a table, exactly like this, like loser, right? It's like, it's the right angle, guys, every time. It's like a corner on a table. Everything like that is always a right angle. If you've got an exact corner, like you see on your desk in your triangle, it's a right angle triangle, okay? Now here's the next really important part. The side that's opposite the right angle is called the hypotenuse. Okay, name really doesn't matter too much, right? Let's not worry too much about it. Let's just call it H, okay? And let's just give these two a couple of other letters. Again, we'll come back to it, doesn't matter too much. But the side that's opposite the right angle triangle, we're calling H. Now, Pythagoras said this, okay? Pythagoras said that if you square this side opposite the right angle, and you let it equal to the square of the two other sides, so O squared plus A squared, that these things are all equal to each other, okay? This is so important. This is so important. I can guarantee this comes up every year in some way or another. You will use Pythagoras on this exam, guys. Take this away from today, okay? That the square of the side opposite the right angle is equal to the square of the sum of the two other sides. Okay, let's just give it a go. Oops, what's going on? Sorry.
Niamh, how do you know which one to label O? How do you know which one to label O? Which is a very common mistake.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get that maybe when I come to the sine, cos, and tan, but I'll just stick with Pythagoras for now. Is that all right? Yeah, okay, because I haven't got an angle in here yet. Okay, let's just use this quickly. So let me give you this triangle looks like this. Let's say this is we're trying to find this one. Okay, so that's our side we're trying to find. Here's our right angle. And let's say this is the length 3 and this is the length 4. Okay, I'm going to call this side X. So guys, our side opposite our right angle is X. Okay. Using Pythagoras, what are we going to do? Well, my side opposite the right angle is called X. So I'm going to have X squared is equal to the square of the two other sides. It's equal to 3 squared plus 4 squared. So what do we have? We have that X squared is equal to 3 squared, which is 9, plus 4 squared, which is 16. X squared is equal to 25. How am I going to find X now? Do you reckon, Dermot O'Brien? How do you think I'm going to find X?
Pythagoras' theorem.
Well, exactly. So we've been using Pythagoras theorem. No, you're dead right. You're dead right. We've just been using Pythagoras theorem. But say if I just have like what we have here, I've got an X squared equals 25. How do I find X here, guys? Another bit of nasty algebra phrase. I tell you what, it comes up absolutely everywhere. If I've got an X squared equals a number, how do I find X?
Find the square root of 25.
Amazing, amazing, exactly, unreal. Find the square, take the square root of both sides, guys. Take the square root of both sides. My square is going to cancel my square. I end up with that X is equal to the square root of 25, which is just 5.
5.
Okay. Okay, brilliant. So great point that TJ brought up now, okay, was labeling these sides O and A. What is all this about, right? Let's take our exact same right angle, okay? Our right angle triangle. Exact same triangle. Here it is again with our right angle. But this time, I'm going to tell you, well, I know this angle here. I know that this angle here is theta, right? Okay, maybe it's 30 degrees or something, right? But I know this angle, okay? Well, I still label my side opposite my right angle as my hypotenuse, H. But now, O, guys, O stands for opposite. It stands for opposite. Okay, and it's saying that it's opposite the angle that we know. It's opposite the angle theta that we know, that we've labeled in. So this is our side O, and the other side that the only one left is A, is our adjacent. A is our adjacent. Okay, guys. So O is the side opposite our angle theta, and H is our side opposite the right angle. Okay, why am I bothering telling you about any of these? Well, if we know some of the sides or the angle or some things about it, we can use our sine, cos, and tan to find these things. We've got sine theta, cos theta, tan theta. Okay. Sine of the angle, okay, sine of this angle theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Cos of this angle theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. And tan of this angle theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. Guys, my favorite way to remember this, right? Oh hell, another hour of algebra. If I can ever wear this algebra, right? Oh hell, another hour of algebra. Okay. And this is how we label them. I think TJ, I won't do a question on this, but just so you know how you label all of these sides, and this is how they correspond, okay? Opposite the angle, O, opposite the right angle, H, and the other one is the adjacent.
Critical. And SOH-CAH-TOA, and if some of them are on about SOH-CAH-TOA, they're like, what is that? It's just a little thing to remember, isn't it? How to remember sine is opposite over hypotenuse. It's a little trick, isn't it? Like a
yeah. That's how I always remember it. Oh hell, another hour of algebra. If that helps people, that was always mine.
There's multiple ways because some people might heard different in school and other way.
Yeah, SOH-CAH-TOA. Yeah.
I'm going to share there, so we'll stop. Right, we'll call it there. You can come in. So that's us. We're now. Thank you for that. That was 1 hour, probably 5-10 minutes of teaching. Thank you, Niamh. We'll give her all a big boot of blast if you're there. With the few. All right. Now, crucially, you are asking me for, can you show me quadratics? We will. I'm going to put an email after this and show you like these 2 minutes of quadratic equations, okay? Like little clips. Is that fair? Everyone fair? We've only so much time, so we'll send it you on I'll send you like a little package of these TikTok style, like minute style videos. Bang. You can learn your own time. Happy enough with that, guys? Give me a yes. Everyone happy with that? And we'll send loads of notes on. We'll send all the notes on. Now, you don't have to stay for the test, but it will help you. Okay? The test is 30 minutes long. Not even. I know you're all laughing at me. Okay, so the test is going to be, it's on Google Forms. I hope you know you're more than likely your mum signed you up. 99% of the people who signed up here, the mum signed them up. So I hope you know your mum's number because you need to use it for the form. Capiche? Type in they ask for your parents' number, type in your mum's number. That is all we generally sign up with because that's how we know how to filter. Okay, Niamh, and I'm going to give you the test. We'll be here till 6 o'clock. You have 45 minutes. Last thing, you will not have a notion how to do some of these questions. You will get completely lost. Some of you. Right? That is perfect. Do not panic. Just give any answer. All right? I want you to feel the pain. I want you to get lost. Everyone agreed? I want you to feel the pain because you're going to come into the mocks in 2 weeks' time and you're like, no, what's going on here? Right? I want you to feel the pain. I want you to figure, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And what did I tell you earlier? I told you, you got to get the basics. Try and bring it back to basics. Everyone ready? Give me a ready. Give me a yes into the chat. I'm going to type I'm going to type into the chat in 1 minute, 30 seconds. I'm going to send the link into the chat, click it, and off you go.
I've
All
got
right.
it here for ready for you, TJ.
I get hundreds of yeses. All right, let's ready to go. Okay, Niamh. So everyone, and no more chatting. We're done. We're gonna stay here. You can chat to us directly. But Niamh Cuffe, if you wouldn't mind, will you put in the link to the test into the chat?
That's sent in now, guys.
Brilliant. It is sent in there. Use your mother's number. It's generally mum who signed up. That's how we filter it. Okay. Thanks, Niamh.
No worries.
It's clickable, yeah.
It doesn't let you click it.
Is that Niamh, that link is not clickable. 2 seconds, I'll send the link again. Sorry, that link is not clickable, Niamh. I'll just copy and paste from separate.
Sorry.
2 seconds, guys. Junior start higher level. Sorry, the link is here. Into the chat. Everyone in the meeting. Ping. There you go. Brian Naughton, you're gone. One more time. Sent. Everyone, there you're good to go. So everyone click the link, yeah? Everyone okay? You can use an emoji if you want. Everyone has the link. So click the link and off you go. Try and put a number in. Make sure you put a number in. Do put a number in. Use your mother's number if you can. That's how we filter. Otherwise, you've no idea. For people with cameras on, nod the heads. Are we okay? Because the cameras will tell me a lot. Are we okay? Everyone in? Yeah, nod the heads. Happy? Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
People can just direct message us with questions, is it, TJ?
Yeah, and the Zoom chat and stuff. Just like you have
Perfect.
here. You can see me here, Niamh.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah,
Nice one.
all good.
Oh, I'm going to pause for everyone watching the recording. I'll keep it going. You can feel like it's real life. If you're stuck, keep going.
Sorry, good question there. Someone's just asked me if you should put equals 0 at the end of the factorizing question. Guys, you can. Doesn't make a difference though, because you're not finding x. You only need an equal sign when you're finding x, right? You need it equal to something. We're just factorizing. Okay, we're just simplifying, we're just splitting it into its factors. So we don't actually need the equal sign. If it helps you, helps your mind, stick it in. No worries. That's a good question there, guys. Some people are asking me if we should do it in your head or if you should write it out. Do write it out, okay? Just because multiple choice, do definitely try to write it out and try to get one of those answers.
Yes.
Okay, great question coming to the chat there. What does factorize mean? Guys, this is something that I see coming up a lot of students of mine, right? It's like, what actually are we asking to be done? A lot of people might think it means simplifying. Okay, in some ways it can be. Factorizing, right, is when you're splitting something into two things that multiply together to give that thing back. For example, if I was to factorize the number 10, I could do 2 times 5, still 10, but I put it into two things that multiply together to give 10. If I want to factorize 15, 5 times 3. I want to factorize 6, 2 times 3. If I factorize something, I split it into its factors. I split it into two things that multiply to give that thing. Look at this question in front of you, this quadratic question in front of you, guys. All the answers that are given are two things multiplied together to give that thing. Okay, what we're trying to do is we're trying to find 2x squared plus 5x minus 12, and we're trying to write it in such a way that we've got two things multiplied together. So in the same way that I can say 10 is equal to 2 times 5, I can do the same thing with algebra. I can do the same thing with letters. That's all it is. Does that make a little bit more sense, Chloe? Chloe, if you're confused how to go about it, or if anyone's confused how to go about it, pretend you're trying to solve for x, right? It's the same process that you do, except forget about finding x at the end. This is the second last step. So when you're asked to solve for x, okay, it's the same thing. I have a couple questions here, seeing if we can show you how to do this first question at the end. And this is exactly what TJ is going to send out to you, right? See the video of trying to solve quadratics. That's exactly what he's going to send out to you. So don't worry, guys. If you're not sure how to do this question, you're going to be sent a video on how to do a question like this. Okay. There's just one test, Ronan.
If you're finished, you can leave the Zoom. But I'd suggest if you're finished, you have to ask yourself questions. In 5 minutes, you've done 5 or 6 questions. Just take your time. I would suggest. Yes, every single question we will correct and send you a video on how it was done. I will send it all to you next week. All right? A video to every single question. The solution will be sent to you next week with your results.
There's a couple of good questions here about this question 2 coming in. Yes, simultaneous equations. This is a question on simultaneous equations. Okay. Using the information that you've been told, I want you to try and build 2 equations for the number of rings and the number of necklaces. Okay. Simultaneous equations, you're dead right. There's not a specific formula, right? You want to read the question, try to make your own equations. Okay. Not easy at all. But give it a go. Yeah, guys, you can leave when you're finished. Or you can ask questions, whatever you'd
I
like.
might put a poll up as well, just while I have a few people just say how that was. 50 people have to answer. All right, so some people might get an answer.
Just to say, guys, on question 3, right, the slope and the length of the line segment, it's exactly what we did today. It's exactly what we did today. So if there's any of them that are really going to apply what we did today, that slope, that formula that I showed you, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and the length of the line segment, that's your distance formula. That's your distance formula that you run with your big square root. Those are both in your log tables. TJ, just Kieran Ryan asking there if it's every week. I think maybe you can let him know.
Weekly grinds and stuff. All that information we send to your parents. This is a masterclass. We do grinds every week. I'll send it all by email. If you want help with grinds, yeah, we'll text your parents, all that. All right. But we do weekly grinds, yes, every week. Smaller classes and yeah, same crack. Look at that. 80% of people said it helped you. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for the feedback. It's fantastic.
Can I ask a question? I don't know how
course
to
you
word it. For the third one with the slope formula.
We'll probably chat this. We'll put it through the chat, all right?
Okay.
Give Niamh a message. We'll chat to them.
Yeah, go for it, Anna. Send me a message and I'll paste it right back to you.
No blanks, everybody. Answer everything. Give something a go. No blanks. A lot of hair being pulled out. Save your hair. You're only 14 or 15. You want your hair. Come on, guys. Nearly there. Give yourself 15 more minutes. 20 minutes. Give it a crack.
Guys, question four is exactly what we did today. Draw the triangle. Right angle triangle. A triangle with a right angle with a corner with a 90-degree angle. What do we do with that today? Draw it out. You can do it.
Yes, you can leave after the test, but go back over them again. Like you just spent 10 minutes. That's all. You should give yourself, we've only got 10 or 15 more minutes left. Give it a crack. You can do it. Go back over them.
Alex, maybe you can tell me what question you're on. That could be a bit more of an idea. Guys, for everyone that's stuck on question 2, let me just talk you through it a little bit quickly, okay? Just listen to this if you're stuck on question 2, okay? What we're trying to do is we're trying to make 2 equations. We're trying to make 2 simultaneous equations. Skip to the end of the question for me and read this, right? It says that we're going to call the price of a ring X. We're going to call the price of a chain Y, okay? It says she sold 3 rings. A ring is X. So we've got 3 X's, 3X, and 8 chains. A chain is Y, 3Y, for €350. That means that equation, guys, is 3X plus 3Y is equal to 350. Okay. Turn those words into math. Right. Try to take these really basic sentences, English sentences, and turn them into a mathematical sentence. That's what you're trying to do. Okay. Trying to make 2 equations like that. Teacher, I'm going to run out for literally 1 minute and I'll be right back.
Thanks, Niamh. I think page 16 is a trigonometry, right? Between 13 and 16, you'll find the formulas in your log tables. Roughly. Keep going, lads. You're doing so well. Keep going. Well done, James. Well done, Benz. Well done, Daniel. Sienna. Keep going.
Guys, I'm back. You can fire away.
Maybe question 5 in 1 minute, Niamh. Give everyone a chance.
Question 5. Okay.
Good question. Can you bring your own logbook into the exam? Nope. Nope. You got to use the school's logbooks. Well done, lads. Keep going. Brilliant stuff. If you're completely lost, keep it simple. Go to the basics. What piece do you understand? What one thing can you understand? Circle the word. Okay, yeah, I can give that a go. Pull something out of it. You should be writing, practicing loads, not just answering. Think it out. Write it out.
Guys, key to question 5. Right, do you know what? Actually, let me just show you something. I haven't looked at question 5 before. Look at my notebook, right? Pictures. I drew picture immediately. Cylinder, sphere. Right, what the heck am I dealing with here then? Draw a picture. Do you know what, guys? I'm looking at this picture. Right, okay, I've been a mathematician for quite a while. I know what the answer is from looking at this now. Grant, you're not going to. But this picture is going to tell you so much. If you're stuck, draw some pictures.
Excellent.
I'm done now. Can I
That's
just
okay. That's
leave?
okay. That's okay. Yeah, you can leave. Thanks.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Thanks a million.
Bye. Hang on till the end though, there's a surprise.
Surprise to me as well.
I'll leave you concentrate. Keep going. Any issues, chat them to us. Well done. Keep going. Nearly there, guys. 5-10 minutes. Let's go. Let's push it. Nearly there. Yes, we will email the corrections. Yes. 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 Tell your friends, by the way. If you leave early, tell your friends. Break your maths.
Question 5, guys. Next step. Find for me the volume of the cylinder. What's the volume of that cylinder? Volume. What can you fill into it? How much water can you fill into that cylinder? Tell me that much. Katie, you're dead on. You're dead on. Go for that. Yeah. Okay, guys, I've got a lot of questions coming in, so I'm just going to answer out loud to save a bit of time. If you're trying to find the volume for question 4, okay, you'd be on the right track if you're looking at 2 pi or h. Someone's asking me here, well, how do we know what to label what? Or, guys, stands for radius, okay? H stands for height. We've been given the diameter. What is the diameter of a circle compared to the radius? It's double the size of the radius. Guys, it's double the size of the radius. The diameter is from one side to the other side of a circle, okay? Radius is half that length. Ignore me, guys. I'm just after saying the volume is 2 pi r h. It's not. It's pi r squared h. Sorry. Pi r squared h. It's the power of suggestion. It's me reading your guys' comments. Jesus.
Will the mocks be easy or hard? Super easy, but I'm good at maths. Yeah, the mocks will be hard. Like, also, from my experience, people think they're good at maths and they get the questions back and like, oh God, how did I get that wrong? All right. Will the mocks be hard? Yes. It's the pressure of 2 hours sitting down or 2.5 hours sitting down. That's the pressure. Getting used to tests. Some people are brilliant at tests. You know that? Some people are brilliant in school learning, and some people are bad at tests. So testing is a skill in itself. Nearly there. We'll call a 5-minute countdown. Is that fair? And I'll hang on for 5 minutes at the end, just in case anyone wants to ask anything, okay? Three 3.14 is fine. You can use your calculator as well for pi. It's fine. That's a big question, actually, Niamh. Whether you do like pi on the calculator or use 3.14, it doesn't make 3.14 is the same. It's fine.
It's fine. I mean, guys, if you're gonna use it, I mean, if I would always use the pi in the calculator. Pi is an infinitely long number, right? And then the more numbers you have attached to the end of it, the more accurate it is. If they said give your answer to 4 decimal places, 3.14 might not cut it. I would always put pi from the calculator. Okay, it's good to get into these good habits early. That's a very good question coming in about question 4, guys. See this right angle triangle question. You've been told the two sides have a certain length, right? And someone's asked, well, how do we know is one of those lengths the hypotenuse or are they the opposite and the adjacent? From the structure of a right angle triangle, guys, the hypotenuse, if you've got 2 sides of the same length, the hypotenuse can't be that one. It has to be longer than those sides. It just has to be. So if you're given 2 equal sides, it has to be the opposite and the adjacent. It's not the hypotenuse. Think about it, right? These guys are here. The diagonal between them must be longer to reach those 2 sides. Great question. Really good question. It's just a symbol on your calculator, Ava. Pi is just a symbol on your calculator. I don't have a calculator on me right now, But if you're struggling with where to find it, ask your teacher in school, because they'll easily ask that question, answer that question for you. Here you write the equations down for yourself and then you solve those equations. Okay, so you don't need to input the equation itself. You want to write them down and you want to solve them. You want to find x and y.
Would we call it a 2 or 3 minute countdown, Niamh, and then we'll give one final piece of advice for everyone? Is that fair? One takeaway for the mocks. 100 people left, so hang on. If you're last 2 or 3 minutes, so hang on and we'll give you the last piece of advice, okay?
And guys, even when we hop off the call, still finish the test, all right?
Yeah, keep it going. At this stage, if you're completely lost, try and pick any answer. Don't leave anything blank. Oh my God, nothing blank. What is the mean? People are asking.
The mean, great question. The mean is the average. It's a type of average, okay? And the way you find it is you add up all the things and you divide by the number of things you have there. Let's say if I try to find the average of 3, 2, and 1, I'd go 3 plus 2 plus 1. Then I divide it all by 3.
And last question you have on the exam. What are you looking for in question 6? What are you looking for? What are you trying to do in question 6?
What are we trying to do in question 6? So, sorry, let me put really quickly. That they identified the mean of average by reference. Okay, guys, this is one of those questions that it's a shame we don't have it written down on paper, okay? Because my first thing would be underlining fucking every little bit of information, okay? When you got a big question like this with a lot of words, we want to underline everything. Okay, what's the first thing? Electrons company tests 7 batteries, 7, underline 7, that's an important number, and records the time it takes for them to run from 100 0%, okay? It's recording the time that it takes, okay, time. The result in hours are as follows. Here's all the results in hours. They then found a mean, they found the average to see how far the battery life varied from what it was advertised for the time of 10 hours. Okay, they basically found a mean of this number to see how far it was from 10 hours. The researchers tested one more battery and the mean value increased from the value they found to 9.25 hours. Find the time it took for this battery to run from 100 to 0%. Okay. So if you added another number to this list of numbers, and then you found the mean with this new number, okay, and then that mean was equal to 9.25, what's the number they added? This is a horribly worded question. That actually really took me a minute to think about. So don't worry if this is confusing. The math itself you have to do is not difficult here. It's trying to figure out what you're trying to do. You're trying to see what number they've added to this list of numbers and then find the mean so that mean is equal to 9.25. Add all those numbers together plus x divided by the total number is equal to 9.25. Does that help? You're on, TJ, or you're on mute, TJ.
2 minute countdown, finish at 10 to start packing up, start finishing up, and then hang on. Last piece of advice. Right, definite there, Callum Fleet. Hang on, 2 minutes. Come on, hang on for 2 minutes. I'll give it a laugh.
Right, lads, I'm off. Right, lads, that's enough.
Very definite. Nearly there now. 88 of you left. Hang on for 2 minutes. Nearly there. Call it 1 minute now. Start finishing up. Put in as much answers as you can.
Harry, haven't a clue what's going to be on the mocks. That's the beauty of the mocks. Do you know what I mean? You never know. You never know. And the thing is as well is that, like, let's not panic too much. They are mocks, all right, and don't get too discouraged by them, because I was one of these. I think there's two kind of types of people, right? One of the people is like, they do badly in the mocks and they're like, oh, kick up the arse, I'm going to study so hard. There's other type of people do badly in the mocks and they're like, I'm never gonna pass. I'm never gonna do well, right? If you're one of the people that gets kicked up the arse, grand, use it, off you fly. If you're one of these people that's feeling discouraged, guys, it's normal and it's fine to not do getting your best grade in the mocks. Okay, the point of them is to learn how to do an exam. Okay, that's really the point you're trying to do.